For some time, we've been treated to an outpouring of what can only be described as anti-Easter literature, specifically a cult favorite tactic used by the cults. But even the pagan world and Christians are telling us how the holiday, in this case Easter, is pagan in origin and bad, and should not be celebrated by Christians. These opinions are backed up with some very rather unusual and curious fantasies masquerading as historical facts. The following videos are intended only to re-examine popular historical claims of the origins of Easter, to provide further discussions concerning some of the so-called facts offered in some anti-Easter publications.
A friend of mine sent me this picture, which was originally on Dawkins' Facebook page. To Mr. Dawkins' credit, he has taken it off, but it still is circulating thanks to him. So here goes. This is Ishtar. The picture here is known as the Burney relief, also called the Queen of the Night relief, and is widely considered to be an ancient Babylonian representation of Ishtar. Although some scholars believe that the woman depicted might be Lilith or Ereshkigal. Pronounced Easter. Ishtar is not pronounced Easter in English. It is pronounced Ishtar. Actually, in modern English we pronounce it the way it looks. A case could be made for pronouncing it as Ishtar, but I have yet to come across a credible source that gives the original pronunciation as Easter. By the way, for non-English speakers, there is no sh sound in Easter. Easter is an English word. The Greeks and Romans called it Pascha, which is why Easter is Pasqua in Italian, Pascua in Spanish, and Pax in French. How exactly did the name of a Canaanite fertility goddess skip all the way to England from the Middle East, without stopping in Rome or Byzantium? This is a subtle, yet effectively deceptive tactic, to get you to think there are similarities between the two words, due to the similar sounds in English. But comparing two words from different language groups is about as useful as comparing a word in German to a word in Japanese for the same reason. Ishtar was the goddess of love, war and sex. These days, thanks to Herodotus, she is especially associated with sacred prostitution, also known as temple prostitution, which, in the religions of the ancient Near East, took on the form of every woman having to, at some point in her life, go to the temple of Ishtar, and have sex with the first stranger who offered her money. Once a woman entered the temple of Ishtar for the purpose of sacred prostitution, she was not allowed to leave until she'd done the deed. Anyway, the point I am trying to make here is that, yes, Ishtar was associated with fertility and sex again thanks to Herodotus. However, her symbols were the lion, the gate and the 8-pointed star. I cannot find any evidence of eggs or rabbits symbolically belonging to her. And Easter has nothing to do with her. The egg and the bunny are not associated with Ishtar. Bunnies evolved on the Iberian Peninsula, that is present-day Spain and Portugal for the non-academics, and did not spread from there with the Roman Empire to the Ishtar country until well after the Ishtar myth was literally set in stone. Sorry, this is biology meets history. This picture claims that eggs and bunnies have nothing to do with the resurrection. That is correct. The Christians of Mesopotamia made a practice of dyeing eggs red in memory of the blood shed by Christ, when he died on the cross. In other words, eggs dyed red were symbolic of the crucifixion, not the resurrection. The Easter bunny is first mentioned in a writing by German doctor and botanist Georg Frank von Franknow. It was titled About Easter Eggs in 1682. Later in the 1800s, German immigrants brought the tradition of hiding eggs for the children to the United States. The story was that the bunnies were responsible for hiding the eggs. It was just a fun thing to do with the children, not some pagan sex and fertility rite. Even if there had been a custom involving eggs and bunnies connected to the worship of Ishtar, it would have been long dead by 1682. Moving on to Constantine. After Constantine decided to Christianize the empire, Easter was changed to represent Jesus. There are two things wrong with this sentence. First, guess what language Constantine, the Roman emperor, spoke? Not English, that is for sure. In fact, When he was alive, English did not even exist yet. He would have spoken Latin, so would likely have referred to Easter as Pascha. Second, Ishtar worship had been gone for centuries by the time Constantine was born. Even if there had been a springtime celebration centered around Ishtar in the Bronze Age, it was long, long gone by the days of the Roman Empire, so there was nothing to copy over anyway. Easter was already widely celebrated throughout the empire by the time of the Council of Nicaea. That is why Constantine felt the need to standardize the date.